You're listening to Just Hit Play with your hosts, Peter and Nick Cabral. If you're tired of your stagnant, streamed music feed, then strap yourselves in for an intergenerational sonic journey through Peter and Nick's favorite songs.
Welcome to episode 136 of Just Hit Play. I'm your host, Peter. With me is my co-host, Nick. Nick, how's it going?
It's going well. I've had a fun week, had a lovely Canada Day. And yeah, all is good.
Happy Canada Day. What did you do? Oh, you went to Grand Bend.
That's correct. Yeah, I went to Grand Bend, which is a beach here in Ontario, with a bunch of my friends. There's a group of friends that I don't get to see very often. We're all sort of spread out, living in different towns and cities. So it was really nice to spend the day with all of them.
You know, I always love Grand Bend. I've been there a couple of times. I went camping there. So yeah, Grand Bend always holds a nice little warm spot in my heart.
Yeah, lovely beach. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Cool. Well, happy Canada Day to all the Canadians. If you're listening to this podcast for the first time, my name is Peter. I live in Australia, but I'm from Canada, and Nick is living in Toronto. So he's my nephew, and this is where we talk about music from our different generations' point of view.
Yes, and happy 4th of July. If you're American.
Oh, 4th of July. That's right. It is. I have a dig in my notes. I have a dig at America later, or a particular part of America. So I'm really happy it's 4th of July that I get to do that.
Perfect.
Because it's always good to have a dig at America when you can. Our music, I'm trying to explain. So we're going to start off with Aretha Franklin in Respect. I always knew how big of a song this was, but when I started doing research, it only dawned on me then how big of a song it actually is. And I'll go through it as soon as we get Darren to hit play about how significant this song is. So I'm getting you to listen to Aretha Franklin Respect. Darren, just hit play. Okay, Nick, before you give me your thoughts, I want to say a couple things.
Sure.
Aretha Franklin is known as the Queen of Soul, so I've gotten you to listen to a lot of soul songs. She's probably when someone thinks of soul music from a female perspective, Aretha Franklin is it. This song in 2021 on the Rolling Stone Greatest Songs of All Time was number 1.
Okay, so it's huge.
Yeah, 75 million records sold, 18 Grammys, including 8 in a row where she won Best Singer. Listen, from 1968 to 1975, she won Best Female R&B Performance. So, 8 years straight, she was awarded the Grammy. So saying all that, what were your thoughts of Respect?
Yeah, this song, I see why it gets the acclaim it deserves, right? Like, I thought that I really really enjoyed the previous soul songs you got me to listen to. But after hearing this, and I'm glad you saved this for the end, because if I heard this first, I think it would have set the bar way too high for everything else that would have come.
Yeah.
This song is just like, it really is levels above it. It feels like it has everything that I was missing in some of the other soul songs, like the catchiness, the I don't know, just everything about it is just, it ends and I want to replay it again. It almost feels like it should be longer than 2 minutes 30 seconds. Like, what a song. I'm at a loss for words to talk about how good this song is. And I'm also sure that no matter what I say, it's probably been said many times before about this song.
Yeah, exactly right. And again, Aretha Franklin lived such a life that I've done all this research, and I can't do her justice in the 20 minutes that we spend talking about a song. When we talk about tragedies that people have gone through, probably the biggest tragedy Aretha went through was at the age of 2, her and her family moved to Buffalo, New York. That's got to be awful.
Yeah, that's
right
basically
there.
being
So
exiled.
there's my dig at America and Buffalo. Buffalo, your city is horrible. I've been there many, many times. I'm always glad to leave. Other parts of America I love. I've never liked Buffalo. That's my dig
Now
at
listen,
America for today.
I will say I went to Buffalo for two
Yeah,
concerts recently. I saw
yeah, yeah.
Freddie Gibbs there, and I saw JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown there, and I did enjoy my stay. Both times, I had a pleasant time, and it was really nice having American fast food, and,
Yeah, yeah.
and the Buffalo Walmart was really cool. I got some things that you can't get in Canada, and the the citizens of Buffalo were nice. They were friendly to me. That's about all I can say on Buffalo.
Okay.
They were nice there.
I, I've seen a show in Buffalo too, and the show was fine. I think I picked up a friend of mine from the Buffalo bus station, and yeah, I feared for my life. I've also never been to a city that had that many fallout shelters or bomb shelters in case there's a nuclear attack, as I saw in Buffalo. And it's funny, Buffalo just sits in that corridor where it just gets so much snow, and there's always a fire in Lackawanna. We grew up on American television, living in Canada. We always had the Buffalo TV stations, and there was always a fire somewhere. It's just one of those unfortunate cities.
Well, that makes it all the more impressive that Aretha Franklin had the career she
Yeah,
did. She was already at a
yeah,
handicap growing up and living in Buffalo.
she was. Yeah. When we talked about a lot of these singers, when they record these songs, they're not original songs, and this is not an original song. Respect was originally written by Otis Redding, and he released it as a single in 1965, and it became a hit for him. And then Aretha Franklin did her version of Respect in 1967 and changed the lyrics a little bit to fit the more female side of things. And it then became a worldwide hit. So Otis Redding had a hit, and he even admitted himself that the song was no longer his after Aretha Franklin recorded it. So yeah, it then became an Aretha Franklin song.
I haven't listened to much Otis Redding. I didn't know that this was originally his either, but I know of his
Mm-hmm.
reputation and status. Like he, in his own right, is a very
Mm-hmm.
big, very popular, influential
Huge.
musician.
Yeah,
So this song went from being owned by one great to another. It sounds like.
exactly right. Yeah. This song too became, when we talked about Kendrick Lamar, one of his songs is sort of like the theme for the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah, All Right by Kendrick Lamar.
This was that song in the 60s and 70s, especially for feminism. It was for the civil rights and feminism. This song was very, very important. It was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 1987. In 2002, the Library of Congress honored Franklin's version, making it in part of the National Recording Registry. It's just one of those iconic songs. It's included in the list of songs of the century by Recording Industry of America. It's just one of those huge songs. There's nothing. It's almost so big that there's not a lot you can say about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's so overwhelming that it's like, where do you even
Yeah,
start? Where do you begin to say about a song that has been discussed to death? We could probably
to
say.
death. Yeah,
And isn't the song like by the numbers, like by sales numbers, one of the biggest ever too?
yep. It was 2 weeks at the top of the pop charts, 8 weeks on the Billboard Black Singles chart, became a top 10 hit in England and really around the world. As I said, Rolling Stone named it the greatest song ever recorded in 2021. It originally was Bob Dylan, Like a Rolling Stone. Then that got bumped to number 4. I don't really know how these songs get bumped up. I guess it's through the reporters at Rolling Stones. I think they're the ones that do these polls. So I don't know why all of a sudden Respect is number 1 and Like a Rolling Stones number 4. But yeah, that's what it is.
They hired some more Aretha Franklin fans,
Yeah,
probably.
maybe. And also, Rolling Stone named her twice as the greatest singer of all time. So there you go. That's Aretha Franklin.
Okay, damn. I guess I gotta listen to more Aretha Franklin then.
Well, funny you say that. While I do love this song, I don't think this is her best song, personally. So we're actually going to listen to another Aretha Franklin song next week.
Okay, perfect. This is great
Yeah.
because yeah, I love this song. Obviously, like how can you not? it's got every good thing about the previous soul music you've had me listen to, but
Yep.
with the added bonus of being a bit more accessible, a bit poppier, a bit more like
Mm-hmm.
catchier, all of those things. So I'm really, really curious as to what the rest of her music sounds like, if I'd enjoy it as much.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get my words correct here. So we talked about civil rights. We talked about the feminism movement. While this song obviously is important, and it did what it did for the civil rights movement and the feminist movement, the song we're going to listen to after Aretha Franklin is probably the most important recorded song of all time.
Okay.
So, while I love this song and it is exactly what it needs to be, it is so important in the civil rights movement. The song we're going to listen to, not next week, the week after, is maybe the greatest. It's not a recording of all time. Now, it's a very rough recording. It would have been done in like the 30s or 40s, but its significance and the meaning behind the song, to me, makes it the most important recording of all time.
Well, that's a hell of a teaser for 2 weeks from now.
I know. I'm building it up because not that I want you to like the song. You can like the song or not like the song. That's I can't control. I can't control what you do. But I'm trying to explain how important it is, and we're going to get into. I've sort of been hinting at the civil rights movement, and I haven't really talked. I've talked a little bit about it, but in a couple of weeks, we're really going to get into it, and when it started, when the groundswell started, and how important it was in American history, that kind of thing. So that's coming in a couple of weeks.
Okay, awesome. I'm excited for that, and it has been a through line recently.
Absolutely.
Just with the music we've been listening to and the time period it all originates from. So yeah, I'm all for it.
The other question I had for you is obviously it being, one of the greatest songs of all time, as Rolling Stone said. Had you ever heard this before?
Yeah, like I've definitely heard bits of this song.
It
maybe
sounded
like
familiar.
The whole song, even. Yeah, I like to differentiate between like passively hearing a song and actively hearing it. This is a song I'm sure I've heard passively many times. I can tell you for an absolute fact, this song has never played on my phone, and I've listened to it. You know what I mean? Like I've never had this song playing on my phone ever.
You've never sought it. Like you've never looked for it or played it on purpose.
No, never.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. The song we're going to listen to next week is actually on the same album as this one. So it was also recorded in 1967. So a great bumper year for Aretha Franklin, 1967.
All right. Well, if that's the case, I might just listen to the whole album.
You couldn't go wrong with that. It's again, I think while this song shows off Aretha Franklin's singing talents, I think it's the next song that you can really hear the power of Aretha Franklin.
Yeah, well, in the Apple Music list that was recently done that I've been referring to a lot, this album was on there. Like I remember seeing it on there.
Yeah. Again, it's such God. This album is absolutely huge, and she is honored as the Queen of Soul for a reason.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and listen to the whole thing then. Why not?
Yep. Cool. I mean, I knew you were going to like the song because how could you not like the song? So it's not a surprise that you love it as much as I do, because it is one of those songs that is just great. There's nothing else you can really say about it.
I was ready to go into this song actually being like, oh, like I've heard it places before. It's like overplayed.
Yeah.
Like how good can it really be? You're coming at it with virgin ears, like to really listen to it critically. I was ready to think that this song was overrated and like a product of its own legacy. But no, it really is that good. That's my conclusion anyway, is that this song really is fantastic. And it deserves the status and legacy it has.
Even like I love the backing vocals by Dunn and like the way the song just swings. There's not a note out of place in the song. It's just perfect from the start to the end. Absolutely just a perfect song.
And an incredible groove to it too. Like you can dance and move to this song.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I kind of knew you were going to love it. So, yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm happy I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly very excited to see what Aretha Franklin has in store for me going forward.
Me too. Yeah. Obviously, Aretha has passed. She's no longer with us. She was immortalized in a movie, the Blues Brothers movie, where she also had a singing number. She played a waitress in that movie. Yeah, just one of those great singers that unfortunately we'll never hear from again.
They just did a recent movie for her too, titled after the song. Respect, Jennifer
okay.
Hudson.
I did know that. Yeah, Jennifer Hudson. Yeah, played her. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Great voice. Jennifer Hudson's amazing. Great voice.
Hell of a voice.
Yeah. Okay, so just to give you one more little fact. So she sold 75 million records worldwide, 112 charted singles on the US Billboard charts, including 73 Hot 100 entries, 17 top 10 pop singles, 96 R&B entries, and 20 number one R&B singles. So, yeah, she had a career.
Yeah, that's dominant.
Yeah, that's like Taylor Swift, like level of dominance.
Yeah, super Taylor Swift level.
Yeah.
Honestly,
again,
I don't know if Taylor Swift has ever had a 112 singles chart yet.
No, and I'm not putting her on the same level as no, I'm not putting Taylor Swift on the same level as Aretha Franklin. It's way too young, way too early for that. I'm just saying sheer volume of selling of singles.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm very excited to talk about your song, so I'll let you lead that one. Go for it.
This week, we have a song that is by an artist more familiar to you, perhaps, than to me. An artist more from your time than from my time. But perhaps was just released a little too late for you to really be familiar with. So we're listening to the song Glass, Concrete, and Stone by David Byrne of the Talking Heads, which was released in 2004. Darren, just hit play. So, Glass, Concrete, Stone. Right. What do you think? Is this live up to David Byrne's other work? Is this what you come to expect from him? Just tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, I love the song. So David Byrne famously was the lead singer of the Talking Heads, one of my favorite bands of all time. And I must admit, I lost sight of David Byrne a little bit once he left the Talking Heads and went into a solo career. A lot of the solo stuff is very artsy and probably not very, poppy or pop songs. And you really have to be in the mood for David Byrne, I think. This song is brilliant. It's a perfect example when I talk about songs that swell and there should be like a build to songs. This is the perfect example of that, where it starts off very, very slowly and it just builds and builds and builds, and the vocals get more intense as the song goes on, and it's a great song. For me, it's a great traveling song. I'd love to listen to this when I'm like going through the airport or on a bus or a train. To me, it's a travel song. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's what it is for me.
I definitely agree with travel song. Funny enough, I don't think I would have described it like that before, but now that you've said it, I completely agree. I think this song is a montage song, if that makes sense.
That's a great example. Yeah, great way to describe it.
And that ties into how I first heard this song, which is it features in an episode of The Bear. Have you seen The Bear, the TV show?
I have not seen it yet. It's on my list.
Fantastic show. Absolutely. Please watch it when you can, when you get around to it. It's an amazing show. This song features in probably the best episode of the show. Correct. And it's like during a montage type scene. Like a really pivotal, emotional montage scene. Yeah. And so that's how I first found this song, and it has just sort of been one of those ones that I really keep coming back to ever since. It, I think you're absolutely right as well that it swells and it builds so nicely, and that to me is something that Talking Heads has always excelled at. Like in their music,
Right.
they really exemplify that, and this just shows that like David Byrne understands that very well in his solo work.
It reminded me a little bit of like a Vampire Weekend sort of track where it's a little bit off. It's a little bit like the beat's a little bit weird and the lyrics are a little odd, which is the Talking Heads. Like they've never been a straight up and down band. They've always been a little bit playing off the beat or playing a weird beat. And this definitely continues in the David Byrne vein. So it reminded me a little bit of Vampire Weekend. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
No, I think it makes a lot of sense. Like that nylon string guitar and the
right
whatever type of drum that is, where it's like hollow and it just sounds a bit different. Like Talking Heads always used different variations of instruments, like from different countries and areas of origin, and that's what made their music stand out, right? Like that's why they were experimental and groundbreaking at the time. Was those different things. So yeah, like this really just, to me, obviously I haven't really gone through the Talking Heads full discography, let alone David Byrne's, but
there's so much that's
you can really see the through line. You can see the DNA continue,
absolutely,
even 20 some years later in 2004 when he made this song.
It doesn't sound like it's that old. It sounds like it could be recorded or it could have been released yesterday. It's such a timeless track. There's no, I wouldn't have known it was 20 years old. I would not have guessed that.
Well, firstly, it's kind of crazy that 2004 is 20 years ago. That's a little mind-boggling. But yeah, I also agree with that. It's really fantastic. And were you able to dig into the lyrics much at all?
I watched a YouTube video where the lyrics were prominent, and again, that's where I got the sort of travel aspect of it, where it's more like a stream of. To me, it was more of a stream of consciousness recording. That's how I saw it, and I don't know. It just him describing the glass and the concrete and the stone, like to me, like that felt like an airport. I don't know why, but that's my visual that I got from it.
Yeah, well, airports are made of glass, concrete, and stone. So
right, yeah.
I read one comment that said that this song was about, apparently this is from David Byrne himself.
Right.
So he said it was about like immigrant workers who would wait in the Home Depot parking lots to pick up day labor jobs to make money to send home to their families. And the whole song is like a comment or critique even on capitalism.
There you go. That makes perfect sense. I get that. I get that reference. Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
It would also be very on brand for David Byrne, who throughout his career has been someone who likes to meditate on society and everything that comes with that, philosophy and whatnot. So I could see it being about that.
Yeah, he's always been known as more of a cerebral artist, especially in his lyrics and his off-kilter lyrics and how he views the world and the big suits he used to wear. It's almost one of those. He's one of those artists that you almost need like a Cliff Notes. Do you know what Cliff Notes are? Is that still a thing for you guys?
Yeah, it's like like what a book's about type stuff.
Yeah, right. To go into like the phrasing or the meaning of it, let's say Shakespeare play or Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah,
that's where we used to reference Cliff Notes, if you will. Like Wikipedia is like that a lot, where Wikipedia will go in and go, oh, the reason he mentioned this is because of blah, 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 right? Like, I think he's one of those artists that the references might be a little bit weird, or he's pulling things from like a movie or a painting where you need like a Cliff Notes sort of thing just to understand deeply what the song's about. Or you could just listen to it as a pop song and let it blow your hair back. But, that's to me what it would be like.
Yeah. No, I agree that it needs some Cliff Notes for sure. Yeah. Like you said, it's so cerebral, very esoteric guy.
Yeah. And that's probably why I lost sight of him a little bit, because there was a tendency to and I'm going to put Paul Simon in this category a little bit, where they got into like a world music vibe, and Peter Gabriel a little bit got into a world music vibe, where they sort of disappeared a little bit up their own asses and were making really artful music, which is great. They can do whatever the hell they want. I think that's, to me, it was probably a little too self-indulgent, and that's where I would have lost track of them a little bit, which is a shame, because then you have songs like this, which are just fucking awesome, and it's sad that I missed out on it.
Yeah, well, I was on his Wikipedia page, and he has put out actually a lot of solo material, so there's a lot that you can catch up on. And have you watched the film American Utopia, which was like the concert Broadway film he did?
I have seen that. Yeah, that's amazing.
I haven't watched it yet, but I definitely want to get around to that, because I've heard very good things about it.
I know he's been in a few movies, where he's acted in a few movies. Again, very off-kilter movies, and not your Hollywood blockbuster type movies, but more your art house kinds of movies. So I know he's been in a few things like that too.
Yeah, I'm about to say something that might be shocking, might even be considered sacrilegious. I've never seen Stop Making Sense.
Okay, great concert film. Yeah.
Yeah, I it's been one of those things that's just on my list forever and ever, and definitely like, oh, I need to watch this movie, blah blah blah, greatest concert film ever. Yep, never got around to it.
I think what I loved about the Talking Heads too is the choreography, and that's going to sound strange when you think about David Byrne, but you'll understand what I mean when you watch Stop Making Sense. He uses his body brilliantly, and it's amazing. Yeah. So I'll leave it there. Yeah. He was a very limber dude, and his body was used brilliantly in choreography.
Okay. You know what? Doing this episode has probably pushed Stop Making Sense higher up my list, so hopefully I'll get around to watching it sooner. And they just recently did a 4K restoration of it as well, so I'll probably throw that on sometime soon.
Well, I want to watch the Aretha Franklin movie with Jennifer Hudson, so there you go.
Perfect. We got movies and everything on this podcast. We do it all.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if we can find it. I don't even know if it's streamed anymore, or like if it's streamed at all, that movie. So I'll have to try to look for it.
Yeah, best of luck. Might have to sail the high seas.
It's funny. I have Netflix, Prime, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, and there's another one here called Stan, which is an Australian version. And still you can't find things. Even though I have all these streaming things, you still can't find things that I want to watch sometimes. It's so annoying, and I don't want to go to another streaming service. Oh, so yeah. Kind of wish that video stores were still a thing, because they would carry such volume of film that you could probably find what you were looking for. Yeah, it's maybe we should bring back video stores.
I think you just did a Curb Your Enthusiasm bit in like 2 minutes there. I think that's what that just was. Was
that what it was?
David of you.
Yeah, I miss video stores.
I do miss a video store. It'd be nice to go to a video store every now and then.
I wonder if there's any Blockbusters left. I heard there was one a few years ago in Alaska. I wonder if it's still around.
I think there is still one. But it's more so like a tourist attraction now.
Right. Yeah. Jesus. Yeah. It's funny. The video store that we have here in our neighborhood is now a doctor's office, and it's my doctor. So when I go there, I kind of look around. I was like, I miss the videos. The videos were better.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they'll ever come back though. You're just gonna
No. It's gone. Yeah.
You'll just have to settle to going to all your different streaming services.
Yeah. Yeah. The only way I think video stores will come back if there's like an EMP pulse from the sun, and magnetic pulse from the sun, and it just wipes out every computer in the world. And then you'll just have to rent movies again, because everything is, we can't put a Faraday cage around everything. So it'll just destroy every piece of technology that has a chip in it that's plugged in, and DVD players aren't plugged in. So that's probably the only way we're going to get it.
Well, I hope that never happens. I'm sorry.
No, me too. Yeah, because I kind of like technology.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What song do you have for me for next week?
For next week, I have the song Final Church by Childish Gambino.
Ooh, okay. We haven't heard some Childish Gambino in a while, so that'll be good. And I hinted at it, so we're going to listen to another Aretha Franklin song, and the song is called "I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You." Again, recorded in 1967. It's the name of the album that all these tracks come from. So, yeah, "I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You" by Aretha Franklin is her song.
Okay, fantastic. I can't wait. Like I said, I'm probably just going to go through the whole album, so I'm very excited to talk about that.
Cool. All right, let's talk about this day in music history. So this comes in July 7th of 1989. It was announced that for the first time, compact discs were outselling vinyl albums. So that happened in 1989 on this day. Strangely, vinyl was outstripping CDs. So it lasted for a good 30 years. And no longer is the case.
Yeah, I'm probably propping up the vinyl market all on my own.
Yeah. No, me too. What was the first CD you ever bought? Do you have a record of that?
I don't know the first one I ever bought myself. I don't know if I ever bought one, but I think the first two that were purchased for me were U2's Europa and Bon Jovi.
Yep, good album.
Some Bon Jovi album.
Okay. The first vinyl that I remember ever buying was a band called Huey Lewis and the News. The album was called Sport. That was the first album I ever bought, like vinyl album. And the first CD I ever bought was U2 Octung Baby. That was the first CD I ever bought.
Oh, okay. Nice. Very good one.
One I still have, one I do not.
Rip.
And so the first album, the first CD to ever sell 1 million copies worldwide was by Dire Straits, an album called Brothers in Arms, which was released in 1986. So that was the first CD that ever sold 1 million copies. Do you know Dire Straits at all?
Yeah, I really like Money for Nothing. That's a great song.
Right. Yep. And that's what we're going to listen to. So, Darren, just hit play on Money for Nothing.
Look at them yo-yos, that's the way you do it. You play the guitar on the MTV.
Yep, first album that sold 1 million copies, first CD that sold 1 million copies was Dire Straits' Brothers in Arms. It was a huge album. Again, if you look at the timeline, MTV needed a lot of content, and they mention MTV in the song. So MTV played it a lot, and this sold a truckload of records.
Do you think there was like a side deal with MTV going on?
The cynic in me says probably. It's a great strategy. Like if you want your song to play, mention the biggest broadcaster in the world to play music. So it would make perfect sense. Yeah.
Yeah, like even if there wasn't a deal on paper, they definitely benefited from shouting them out.
Yeah, it's a great move. Yeah, no, it definitely. Their song was just all over. I remember it was everywhere in 1985.
Yeah, well, like I said, it is great.
Yeah. Cool. What are your plans the rest of the week?
Well, tomorrow I go to St. Michael's Hospital. That's going to be where my clinical placement is. So I have a shadow day tomorrow in advance. Nice. I get to follow some respiratory therapists around for the day and see what work they do. So I'm really excited for that.
Oh, that'll be fun. Do you know what I'm doing later today? My profession is a photographer, and what I love about photography is I get to do a lot of weird things. And I get to travel I was in Sydney a couple weeks ago doing some stuff down in Sydney, and I've been to Adelaide and Perth and whatnot. I'm helping a friend who wants to photograph, lures when you go fishing, like fishing lures and fishing reels?
Yeah.
She bought a fish tank, and she wants to take photographs of what it looks like when a fishing lure hits the water.
Okay. Interesting.
Because she is
That's very interesting.
Yeah, later today she's going to like a fishing show, like where they have like reels and boats and whatever. And she wants to try to entice companies that have fishing, or people that make their own fishing lures, to book her to photograph the lures hitting the water.
Okay, that's fascinating stuff.
It is always interesting what people ask me to help them with, or what people ask me to take pictures. I did a photo shoot last week where it was wearable art. So I had the clothing designer come over to my studio, and she made an entire gown out of milk bottles and just repurposed it to make a gown. And so we had the makeup artist, the girl that was wearing the dress, and a huge gown made out of milk bottles. And the photographs were beautiful, and it does not look like a gown that's made out of milk bottles. So I get asked to do a lot of weird things, and I love it.
That does sound nice, and it makes every day different.
My jobs are rarely same. I do a lot of different things. Yeah. So it's I love being a photographer. It's my passport to travel. It's my passport to meet very interesting, odd people. A guy once hired me to photograph driftwood that he found on the beach, and he would make animals out of the driftwood. And he wanted to display them, so he hired me to take pictures of driftwood. It's a weird job. What can I say?
That's probably some of the best pictures that have ever been taken of driftwood. So that's your contribution to the world.
It was art. It was driftwood as art pieces that look like animals. So it's a weird world, weird and wonderful world. I'll say that.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, let's listen to our independent artist this week. We have Sam Paul, who's got a song called Valium. Sam is from Brisbane. I'm going to put all the socials up on our Instagram page. Please support your independent artists. I asked Paul what Valium was about, and this is quite a sweet response. The song is about the singer's son who calms him down no matter what craziness he has going on in his life. So I thought that was a very sweet response to what the song's about. So thank you very much, Sam, for letting us play your song. And this is Valium by Sam Paul, and we'll talk to you next week.
The voices in my head don't want to face today. It's outside I dread, heart palpitations with every word that's said. It's a daunting task, my mind fills with fear. My body shakes and my eyes fill with tears. Vision is blurred, can't seem to see clear. Irrational thoughts are all I can hear. Doubts bounce through my head like a ping pong ball. Keep picking myself up every time that I fall. I try hard not to slouch and stand tall, but I keep looking up like a better call soul. But since I met you, I'm a better person. Without changing me, I'm a better version. You're giving me the patience of a surgeon, and I'm even more determined.
When I lose my mind and the stress gets too real, when I'm overwhelmed and I just can't deal, you were there for me when I can carry on. You're all I need, you're my Valium.
As I get older I see life more clear. I used to miss opportunities due to fear, shy away from things I'd compromised, and regret that I hadn't even tried. Many nights I'd cried, disappointed in myself. I should have been writing chapters for the bookshelf. Things got dark, but I couldn't see the dawn. But all that changed the day you were born. A complicated birth is what we named your chance. Couldn't believe I could hold you in my two hands. You're a calming force, like being barefoot on the sand. You diffuse me every time that I'm mad. You were hospitalized at 7 months, had trouble breathing, infection of the lungs. Brave little bear, you never gave it once. The epitome of peace like a single white dove.
When I lose my mind and the stress gets too real, when I'm overwhelmed and I just can't deal, you were there for me when I can carry on. You're all I need, you're my Valium.
When it's all too much much, the world's weighing on me. You're the calming force that helps me see clear when my focus leaves and I forgot my dreams. You're the energy force that keeps me grounded when it's all too much, the world's weighing on me. You're the calming forces that help me see clear when my focus leaves and I forgot my dream. You're the energy force that keeps me grounded
when I lose my mind and the stress gets too real, when I'm overwhelmed and I just can't deal. You are there for me when I can carry on. You're all I need, you're my Valium. Ooh, my Valium. Alright.
You've been listening to Just Hit Play. To contact your hosts, Peter and Nick, or to be featured on an episode as musical talent, email justhitplay7300@gmail.com. Keep up to date with news and announcements by following on Instagram and Facebook, linked in the show notes. Subscribe on your favourite podcatcher to tune in next week for more sonic delights. And if you can't wait till then, check out the Just Hit playlist on Spotify, linked in the show notes. A special thanks to Braden Munch for the theme song, and thank you for listening.